Hello, everybody. My name is Caroline Svixon, and I'm so excited to be here today with a very, very special guest, Jamie Greenwood. And we are going to talk about the topic of honoring your body and its changing shapes through the transitions of pregnancy and postpartum. This is such an important topic, and I'm so happy that you are here with us, Jamie, today. A little bit about Jamie before we get started. Jamie Greenwood is a life coach whose passion is coaching driven, soulful women to reconnect with themselves for greater presence in their lives, peace in their hearts, and power in the world. Jamie is a featured speaker and trainer for companies across the United States, and her writings have been featured on The Huffington Post, Mind Body Green, and Tiny Buddha. And when Jamie is not coaching, writing, or speaking, you can find her cooking with her family or dancing to her favorite salsa beats. I love that.
It's true. It's what I did this morning.
I love that you're still doing that, and you're having a baby in a week and a half or two and a half weeks.
Yeah, 2.5 weeks. Yeah, dancing has been one of the things that I've been able to keep going throughout the pregnancy. And I don't even take classes. I literally just put on music and dance in my living room or in my bedroom. And it has made such a difference of helping me stay connected to myself and connecting to the baby. And it's very freeing at a time when we can feel like there's so much that has to be done and so much we have to check off of a list.
Totally.
Just have 20 minutes of freedom of just like, it's just great. It's excellent.
I love it. And I think that's such a big thing too about, when we're transitioning into motherhood, that sometimes we can feel such a loss of things of like, oh my gosh, like all of the things I used to do, I'm not doing anymore. So I love that you're keeping it up throughout your pregnancy. And I'm sure your little one is going to be all used to the tunes and the music by the time he's birthed.
I know. I'm very excited to see what kind of dancer we're going to get.
Yeah. I'm sure not a shy one. All right. Well, so what we're talking about today is such an important topic. And I was really inspired by our walk that we took because we reconnected when I recently moved back to San Francisco, which I'm so happy about. And we took a walk. And after our walk, I was like, oh my God, I need to interview you for just my followers and my blog, because I think that you have so much wisdom to share in terms of feeling at home in our bodies, no matter what our shapes and sizes are throughout our life, throughout different transitions, and now particularly we're talking about pregnancy and motherhood because we're both in that stage.
Yes.
But, even like I went on your website and of course, just like kind of looked a little bit into, what you're talking about a lot. And one thing that comes out so much is feeling present and feeling good in your body now and in your life now. And I love that concept. And I'm such a big believer in that, but I was wondering if we can maybe start off with you speaking a little bit more to that and why that is so important.
Well, presence is, the foundation of my work. How can we be here now? Because so often we are 10 steps ahead of ourselves, or I call it, you're either past gripping or future tripping. You're either like gripping past, I should have done that, or you're future tripping on all the things that need to happen. And I think that pregnancy is rife with future tripping. Just getting into your own mind and psyche about everything that you want to happen, that may or may not happen, and how you want it done, and how it gets very murky. And so presence, being here now, not only in your life but in your body, is critical to have, as I have found it, I won't say happy, because that's asking a lot, but a peaceful pregnancy, just feeling like it's going to be okay. And also presence, coming back to the body, coming back to what's happening in this moment, is incredibly important for labor and birth, because you can't be anywhere else. Usually we want to run away from the pain. And as during pregnancy, if we can practice being in our bodies and being here now, we can then practice that. We already have that as a tool in our toolbox during labor.
Yeah. And during motherhood, because gosh.
Well, and then there's that piece. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. And, so interesting. I love that you're saying like future, what was it? Future reaching past.
Oh, yeah. It's, Past gripping and future tripping.
Future tripping. Okay.
Yeah.
So during my pregnancy, I had this weird, strange week during my first pregnancy, where I was totally past gripping. And I was like, oh my God, it's never going to be me and my husband again.
Yes.
Just the two of us, like drinking wine for hours on a Saturday afternoon, and like not never. I know that down the road, there's going to be that moment again. But I also had to go through just like letting myself feel also the sadness of something else passing,
Yes, I completely agree. I've been, my past gripping is very much in relation to my relationship. I love where we're at. I love who we are together, and it's all going to be turned upside down with a child. And I was finding myself like really getting freaked out of like, okay, so what do I do to make sure that we stay exactly the same?
Yeah.
Like, okay, one, impossible. But two, how would I just enjoy who we are right now?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of worrying about who we're going to become,
Mm-hmm.
how can I be present with the love that's here now, which is what I've been focusing on. And it's been really helpful. Mm-hmm. And the same thing with my body. Your body goes through these crazy changes, like not only size, but like colors change. Things come out that you're like, what? Like, it's all so weird and ridiculous. And if you can be present with it, there's an ease that comes versus fighting all the different changes and then waiting to get back to your old body, which is never going to happen.
Yeah. So what would you say to someone, for example, who's experiencing like terrible morning sickness, and of course they're future tripping and they like can't wait for first trimester to be over so that this morning sickness is finally not, bothering me every day, all day, sometimes too.
I was
like situations when it's hard, how do you practice being present?
A lot of it is in the breath. I've been doing, so there's this, usually I just kind of do regular in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4. But I've been doing this, it's part of hypnobirthing breathing, where it's the J breath, where you kind of imagine the J kind of coming through your body and then out and up, which is the path that the baby takes. Mm-hmm. They kind of go down, and then when they emerge from you, they lift their head up. So that's the J. Mm-hmm. And that was a breath technique that I used throughout my pregnancy and when I was nauseous, of just like holding my belly, being in bed, and just breathing. Mm-hmm. Just breathing, because there's no way of getting out of it. Yeah. There's no way of getting out of it. So you have to be in it, mm-hmm. but also knowing that this moment is just this moment. Mm-hmm. And I can be in this moment and the next moment. And over time, the moments pass.
Yeah. It also sounds like there's almost like a sense of like surrender in there, right? Like surrendering and like giving up the fight against yourself or your own symptoms or your own body.
Exactly. And surrendering to the process is incredibly apt to say. Bye. But I would also say that it's not just surrendering, but it's making sure that you stay friends with your body. Mm-hmm. It's so easy to feel like your body is betraying you when it doesn't feel good, mm-hmm. or when it doesn't look good. Mm-hmm. the way that you want it to look. So one of the things that I did during my most nauseous times was reminding myself, this is building the baby. Mm-hmm. This is my body building the baby. This sucks and I hate it. This is my body building the baby. Because there's also, you have to allow for acknowledgement, mm-hmm. of your feelings. I think a lot of us too, we have a negative feeling and we're like, okay, fine. Like, I don't want that. Mm-hmm. Versus letting it exist. And I think of negative feelings as kind of waves, letting them kind of wash over me. Mm-hmm. They're allowed to exist, but they're not allowed to stay.
Yeah.
Like a wave, they kind of come and go. It's like I watch that, oh, there's me really hating being nauseous. Okay, take another deep breath. Mm-hmm. Okay, there's me having the exact same experience. I really hate this. Okay, take a breath and moving it out. Versus like, I'm not feeling this. This is fine. It's okay. It's okay. It's like, it's not okay. It sucks. Yeah. But
you don't have to convince yourself.
You don't have to convince yourself that like, this is great. But also remembering but this is part of it, and this is building my baby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. And there's such a peacefulness that even came out in your voice when you were talking about the two different scenarios. And it even makes me think of like relationships, right? Like it's not about convincing your partner to have all the same opinions as yours, but how do you let two different opinions stand in the room and accept them and like love the other person despite.
So true.
You know, so and so it's like the same is true for your own relationship with yourself and the opposing little voices that are bickering.
Exactly. Well, and I call that the itty bitty shitty committee, which, you know, all
your words and terms.
Yeah. It's, you know, I mean, a lot of people call it, you know, the inner critic. And I'm like, I don't have one. I got like, so, you know, really getting part of letting yourself have the negative feeling or negative emotion is becoming familiar with the itty bitty shitty committee, acknowledging them, letting them exist, but not letting them be in charge.
Yeah.
You know, Elizabeth Gilbert talks a lot about this in terms of fear. Mm-hmm. Let your fear exist, but don't let them drive the car.
Yeah.
Right? Like don't let them be in charge. But the longer the more we ignore something that feels negative or bad, the louder it gets.
Mm-hmm. We're just fueling it by ignoring it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I have a client where she's on the only diet I put my clients on is either a media diet where I'm like, no more media, you're done. Or like a language diet where I like take out certain words that they're not allowed to use anymore. And her two words that she's not allowed to use anymore are whatever and fine. Like whenever she's feeling something negative, she'll be like, whatever, it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're really ignoring some major things here, mm-hmm. which as mothers and as parents and as partners, we have to be real with our experience.
Yeah.
Or else we're just constantly sidelining what's real for us mm-hmm. and not being present and not being authentic.
Mm-hmm. And not giving it an outlet, but you're just storing the toxicity in your own body and in your own mind. And it just becomes, you know, like a bigger source of toxicity and evil and disease, really.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So you have worked with a lot of women who, you know, struggle to like just feel good, like in their bodies, coming back to like this shift in our physical experience also as we're going through pregnancy and motherhood and what our bodies look like after, because it is a real issue for a lot of women, you know. Mm-hmm. Why do you think in our society, especially, like accepting our bodies is so tremendously difficult?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Let me break it down. So I like to think of it as external and internal. There's the external messages that we get constantly from the media of how we are supposed to look, how we are supposed to act. And there has really been a campaign against women's bodies for a very long time of keeping us very small, and very slender, and very controlled. And, you know, if you keep a woman freaked out about her body, she doesn't have time to, I don't know, be creative and do some incredible work in the world because she's so focused on, do I look okay?
Yeah.
So there's the outside kind of media. There's also what I'd say is kind of in the middle. It's not outside or inside, but it's what we've inherited from our mothers mm-hmm. and from our grandmothers, which if we have mothers and grandmothers that commented on our weight or their weight, or I had a client yesterday, she was like, I used to always watch my mom and my aunts talk about their bodies to each other, mm-hmm. about like who was looking thin and who wasn't, and who had eaten too much and who was under eating. And it's like, there was no happy place there. You could just be in your body.
Yeah.
It was always under scrutiny.
And if you watch other women judge other women's or their own bodies, you automatically also think that they're judging yours. And so you're starting to become objectified. Exactly.
And then there's the internal work of what do I believe about my body? And, you know, for me, oh my God, I remember, my poor ex-boyfriend. This was like my first boyfriend. I was very, very into exercise and being thin and working out. And I really believed that he was with me because I was maintaining a certain size that I was like gripping onto. It was really hard. Didn't eat sugar, didn't eat dairy, had no fun. It was lovely. And so when he broke up with me, the first thing I said was, I can't get any thinner.
Yeah.
And he was like, what are you talking about? But that's immediately where I went, of like, my value is completely wrapped up in my body size and how I look. And if you're breaking up with me, that means that you don't want my body because there's something wrong with it.
Mm-hmm.
And which is incredibly telling of how women, I think, see their bodies. And when you get pregnant, it is the ultimate surrender. You have no idea what's going to happen. You have no idea how big your baby's going to be. You have no idea how everything's going to grow, and you have no idea by how much.
And in what ways.
And in what ways. And I think that pregnancy is an incredible opportunity for women a girlfriend of mine used this term recently, to cultivate body sovereignty.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what? This is mine.
Yeah.
This is mine, and I'm owning it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm honoring it. And what does honoring my body even look like? It means that when that negative thought comes in about how I shouldn't do this, or I shouldn't look this way, or God, I'm so fat, or oh my God, I'm huge,
mm-hmm.
to recalibrate, take a breath and say, my body is doing a great job.
Mm-hmm.
My body's building a freaking human.
Yeah.
You've got to be kidding me. Like, just the simple reframe of going from berating your body to believing that your body is sovereign and worthy of honor.
Yeah. Changes
everything.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Like, there's so much coming up even for me, like hearing you say that. And how, like, for me, like in my first pregnancy, I think I like went through this whole thing where I like suddenly saw the value, or like witnessed the value of my body in such different ways and terms, like as you just said, like, I'm building a human, like I'm actually giving life. And like my body became so much, like it took on a value that it never had before, even though I've done years of like work around like body acceptance and like feeling beautiful no matter what, yada yada yada, like all that stuff. But like with pregnancy, like there really was this tremendous opportunity to witness the value of my body and what it was really doing, and going beyond what it looked like, even though sometimes that wasn't necessarily crazy easy.
Yeah. I find pregnancy it's just rife with opportunities. And I think, one of the things that happens with our bodies is that they soften, right? Our hips get softer, our breasts get softer, our butt, everything just gets soft. And I think that's what's supposed to happen, obviously, because we need extra weight to then be able to nurse our babies and have good health during that time that we choose to feed our babies from our bodies. But it's also an opportunity to soften how we're living our lives. As we were talking about, gripping, what if pregnancy is our opportunity to just soften into our bodies and into our beings? What would that be like if all mothers were like, yeah, this is me resting in this gorgeous place of life creation. Another thing that came to me, which, oh my God, it is amazing that we make babies, right? And I was thinking, okay, I am making more humans. No one else can do this except for women, right? Like, dudes, I don't even understand how men have ever had power. We babies, like how is it that we were so like convinced that we didn't have the power to then, run everything? If we can make a baby, we can, anyway, it's really, I felt so empowered while being pregnant. And I feel grateful for that opportunity, because I think a lot of women don't feel empowered by being pregnant. And I was certainly afraid in the beginning that pregnancy was going to take away my drive, take away my interest in my career, it was just going to fuck everything up. And instead it's been like the biggest cheerleader, like, you're even more powerful than you knew.
Yeah. Like, you are so much stronger than you ever thought you were.
You are so much stronger than you ever knew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. So I know from my own work, like working with pregnant women and new moms, like it can be really hard for us to just accept and love, like just like the new way of, and like you, as you pointed out to me, like when we were talking about the topic for today, like how can we really step into a place of honoring our bodies for what they're doing and for whatever size and shape they've maybe taken, or even maybe our whole lives for how they've changed, right? Like what are some kind of like specific tools that women who are watching this video can start doing in their own lives to get closer to where, for example, you seem to be at this stage in your pregnancy, because you've obviously done so much work in your own life, because I think conceptually, like we can understand a lot of these ideas and concepts, and they sound really nice, but how do we actually live our lives at home and start to feel that way? Like if somebody's not used to valuing themselves or honoring their body or looking at themselves in a changed body that maybe hasn't bounced back like our society is telling us to do.
Oh my God, there's a whole nother conversation about bouncing back. Give me a lip and break. But to answer your question, what as you said, what are some tools that women can use to kind of get to where you are? I'm only where I am in this moment at 12:30 p.m. Because of the tools I'm going to give you right now that I did this morning.
Okay.
This is a practice. This is something I wake up some mornings and I'm like, this is very real. This is very real and very scary. And then I do these things and I reconnect and I find myself again. So I wanted to put that out there, that I haven't figured this out. I just do certain things that get me to this place.
Yeah. Or it's not something that you do one time for like an intensive week and then you never have to worry about it again. It's like ongoing.
It's an ongoing, continual practice, because body acceptance, our body acceptance and our ability to honor ourselves is constantly under attack. Mm-hmm. It's under attack, again, by the culture in which we live. It's under attack by the messages that we received from our families and mothers and grandmothers, even though we love them and they didn't know any better. Mm-hmm. We have to forgive them. And then under attack from our own inner voices.
Yeah.
So just knowing that this isn't something you do once and then you've nailed it. Mm-hmm. Or if you haven't nailed it, there's something wrong with you. Yeah. It's forever. Mm-hmm. It's forever. It's like we have to just keep building that muscle. So anyway, the first thing that I do in the morning is a meditation where I go down my body and thank all of the different parts of me. Mm-hmm. I have really bad eyesight. I'm wearing contacts. So I always start with like, thank you, eyes, for seeing. Yeah. It would suck if I couldn't see. Thank you, mouth, for eating and chewing and speaking. Thank you, arms, for carrying the groceries and all of the hugs you've ever given. Mm-hmm. And I just go down my entire body, and it creates gratitude, which is imperative if we want to feel connected in our lives. Mm-hmm. It also reminds us of everything our body does every single day without us ever asking.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
And it also reminds us that our body is doing the best she can. The body is always trying to lean towards feeling good, mm-hmm. and towards health. So when our bodies aren't feeling good or aren't leaning towards health, that's not our body betraying us. That's us needing to step up and support her in a new way.
It's like sending a message, maybe through pain, that says, pay a little bit more attention. I need you. Give me some love, show me something,
Exactly. It could just be a nap. I mean, it could be really, really simple. So that's number one. And I do that almost every morning, as I thank my body, and I created that meditation because I had a number of clients, when we would talk about like body love, they were like, I cannot go straight to love. And I was like, well, I get that. Love can be a big ask, but what about thanks? Mm-hmm. We can thank our body.
Yeah.
We can find something to thank her for.
Yeah.
So that's number one. Number two is what I call SFO. Stop, feel, and offer. So if you are in a really negative spiral around your body, or in a spiral of fear around motherhood or birthing or pregnancy or whatever, you stop, you put one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. You take a big deep breath and you just feel what you're feeling. I mean, I am feeling fear. I'm feeling nausea. I'm feeling nervous. I'm feeling vulnerable. I'm feeling scattered. And you locate that feeling in your body and you just let it be there. And you get present with it. And as it begins to kind of move or shift or soften, you take another breath and ask yourself, what do I need? You offer yourself what you need. Maybe you need a little bit of compassion. Maybe you've been really hard on yourself. That's the one I'm like always having to come back to, is I'm so hard on myself. Maybe you need a bit of understanding. Maybe you haven't been outside and you just need to go outside. You know, what can you offer yourself after you stop and feel to reconnect and experience just a small sense of lightness, a small sense of relief, a small sense of presence and calm. We're not looking for life to change in 3 breaths.
Yeah.
Right? It's like tiny, tiny, tiny along the way.
But even the luxury, the question, what do I need, offers. And how unusual it is for us, and for us women, especially in our society, to ask ourselves, what do I need? Because we're so busy asking other people what they need, trying to check off all the, external boxes of like stuff that needs to get done, running errands, all this stuff, that we don't really ever tune into ourselves and truly ask ourselves, what do I need? We ask ourselves, what else should I do?
Right. Well, so I had a baby shower last week, and someone said something that just like totally blew my mind. Because she started to say, Jamie, make sure that you give yourself, and I thought it was going to be give yourself what you need. And she said, make sure you give yourself more than what you think you deserve. I was like, what? Because I sometimes, I know what I need sometimes. But giving myself more than what I think I deserve, that was mind-blowing to me. Because I could really see myself putting a cap on my needs.
Yeah.
Right? But giving myself more than I think I deserve, like just really leaning into what I call the ask, asking for support, asking for help, asking yourself for love and presence.
Yeah.
Giving yourself more than you think you deserve.
Yeah. Gosh. And that is, again, like resonates so deeply with being a relatively new mom myself. I have a 1.5-year-old, and then obviously like now another one on the way. But like for me, it wasn't hard to deserve like good food, right? And like exercise. Like I would make space for those. But for the longest time, I didn't think that I deserved just time to myself where I wasn't doing anything. Like I wasn't going to the grocery store. I wasn't cooking baby food. I wasn't working. I wasn't taking care of my husband, but I was just sitting and reading a book. Right. And that was like my little extra that kind of kept me, like without that, I was kept running in a hamster wheel. Right. Like I wasn't ever just present and calm.
Yeah.
So that was like the extra that I didn't think I deserved until I got to a point where I was like, I need time to myself. I can't operate like this anymore, and but in an ideal situation, like you get to that point before you're forced to be put into that position.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, ideally, but I mean, I hear this from my clients, and I hear this from my, I see this in my life too, that often we don't give ourselves the thing until we're on fire.
Yeah.
Right.
Or someone sends us away.
Yeah. Someone's just like,
it, right?
You go. You need to leave now. Being, an SFO, stop, feel, offer, really is helpful in connecting to our needs more quickly and connecting to to the time alone that we need more quickly.
Mm-hmm.
These are all tools to kind of, as is the thank you body is, because you really need to do that alone,
Mm-hmm.
and so much of new motherhood, as I know about to experience, is you've got like a kid on you 24/7. So it's really hard to find those moments.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can, I think they are immeasurable in the good that they provide.
Yeah, totally. Especially when it comes, even going back to like our topic for our whole conversation today, like feeling yourself and befriending yourself. You need to spend time with yourself in order to be your own friend, right? Like friendships don't happen if you don't put in a little bit of work and if you don't make space for quality time with yourself. And so I love what you're talking about. Also not going from like, I have to love my body now, but I can honor my body and I can find something in it that I'm grateful for. So like doing this body meditation, body scan that you were talking about, and then the SFO, to just give yourself even just a couple of minutes when you feel wrapped up and you go, and you go down a negativity spiral in your mind, whether that's about your body or your life or your relationship or whatever.
Or all of it at the same time.
But to stop, feel, and offer. I love that SFO. Awesome. Thank you so much, Jamie. This was such a wonderful, amazing interview. Thank you so much for your time. I know it's so precious now that your little one is arriving in such a short time.
I have to go meditate. This was fantastic. Thank you so much. And I hope people get something out of it.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. And everybody, if you want to find out a little bit more about Jamie, I'm going to post her website right underneath this video so you can play on her website and find out all the good stuff that she's writing about, blogging about. And I know you're not going to see clients until I think June 2017.
Yes.
But if you do want to get in touch with Jamie, get on the wait list now. I know she's really busy. All right. Thank you so much, Jamie.
Thank you. Bye.